What's up everyone, this is FP Sticks bringing you 3 different Ultra Premier team concepts that you can try out in Ultra Premier. So Ultra has rolled around this week once again. Man, this season is long. It's really given lots of people the opportunity to hit Legend this season, which is really exciting. Plenty of time for you all to continue your ELO grind, push leaderboards, or just try to hit a rank that you might not have hit in previous seasons. But in today's video, I'm going to be bringing you a bunch of practice battles that I did with my patrons, testing out a bunch of different Ultra Premier teams, three teams to be exact, and I really hope that at some point in the future, you might have seen this me tweet about this, but I really hope that Niantic implements some sort of a practice mode that keeps the same matchmaking system that allows you to randomly pair with someone else, but with no ELO punishment if you lose, because it would really allow you to practice with some of these different team comps without being punished. But instead, the way that I'm able to practice with new teams is by battling with friends or patrons or people that are on my friends list that are active battlers, and be able to try out teams like that. This first team, Machamp, Snorlax, and Lapras. I believe this is a Shadow Machamp, and the concept behind this is Machamp is obviously very weak to Charmers and the Flyers. It doesn't do as well against either. Lapras kind of covers that weakness pretty solid, especially against Dragonite or Togekiss, and Snorlax is the safe swap here. As far as like the specific layout of each of these teams, it is very flexible for substitutions here. You could run Toxicroak in the lead here instead, because technically speaking, this whole team right here is a little bit weak to Toxicroak. If you see a Toxicroak in the lead, you kind of need to stay in and chip it down with Machamp, or you can still just swap the Snorlax immediately. Even though that isn't a great matchup for Snorlax, it will at least draw some shields. And so I think Shadow Machamp is really powerful in the Great League as well as in the Ultra League. I think if you want to run a Snorlax, Shadow Snorlax is almost always preferred, and the reason being is that it can cleanly beat Venusaur in the even shielding scenarios, whereas normal Snorlax, you're missing like I think it's an attack break point on Lick, or you're missing some attack breakpoint on Body Slam, and so that matchup isn't as clean with Venusaur, whereas Shadow Snorlax definitely I think is the way to go. I unfortunately just don't have one built, and the only one that I have available to build is absolutely terrible PvP IVs, so I'm just not gonna make that investment into that bad Snorlax. Hopefully at some point in time soon I'll be able to get a decent IV Snorlax to try that out, but you're going to see a couple battles using this first team, and then as the video progresses, we'll get into the other 2 team comps as well, but we can kind of commentate over the battles right now. Lapras against Drifloon is obviously pretty favorable for Lapras. That Shadow Ball does a good chunk. This Surf will chip away, and then I'm able to take out that Drifloon. So Machamp in the lead against Charizard. Technically, if you can bait successfully and land the Rock Slide, you can win this matchup, because Rock Slide easily one-shots this Charizard. But I do have Snorlax and Lapras in the back, which also are decent responses to this Charizard, so I do want to start burning some shields here. And I do survive this Dragon Claw, just barely, so I'm going to save this energy and actually just swap into Snorlax here. They bring out Abomasnow, and so this is where I really like having Superpower as the secondary move on Snorlax. It hits for super effective against the Steel types, the Ice types, and just hits for stronger overall neutral damage in those neutral scenarios. And I'm barely going to be able to survive this Weather Ball here and then rip off this Superpower. This is either going to draw the last shield or take out the Abomasnow. So I have switch advantage now. Out comes the Charizard. This is going to allow me to line up my Lapras on it. I know this is going to be a Blast Burn, so I'm just going to shield this up. We do a lot of damage. In the back is an XL Umbreon. Oh my gosh. XL Umbreon is actually busted, overpowered in Ultra Premier. It's almost unfair. It's almost unfair. If you have the resources to build a level 51 Best Buddy Hundo Umbreon, definitely do it, because you are just literally going to outbulk your opponent in every single matchup. Even if they bring out a fighter onto this Umbreon, it's so bulky, so tanky, that you're going to be able to rip off these last resorts so frequently and potentially even flip a lot of matchups. I think running Umbreon as a safe swap is pretty solid. You could even run it in the league. You can run it anywhere you want. It's just too good. It's actually too good. It's just able to rip off these foul plays so frequently. And the next team, one of the next teams that I'm going to feature actually does involve an Umbreon and a Skarmory, both of which I don't have powered all the way up to level 50, and it's a noticeable difference in performance. If you want to run Umbreon, you need that thing powered up to level 51. If you want to run XL Skarmory, you need that thing maxed out. And so I don't think they are going to perform nearly as well if they have not reached their full stat product there. So that is something to consider. This matchup of Snorlax on Charizard is pretty decent for Snorlax if you can successfully shield up the Blast Burns, because you're essentially getting to a body slam every 4 fire spins worth of energy. My opponent does go for the Blast Burn there. Really nice play. I thought they might try to bait me with Dragon Claw. So I'm loading up on extra energy here with Shadow Machamp, and I know that it's going to be in cross chop range. I have energy stored. Out comes that Dragonite again. I'm just going to go for the Rock Slide and see what they want to do here. They let it go. In the back is a Typhlosion. Incinerate Typhlosion. And so it's very important that I'm timing my charge moves to not allow them to get a free Incinerate in, because that's 5 free turns worth of energy, which is absolutely devastating. So they built up to 100 energy. I'm going to throw the Surf. It's barely not going to KO, but I know that I still survive Blast Burn at this range, so they're going to have to go for Solar Beam, which they have the energy for right here, and that's easily going to one-shot the Lapras, but I'm able to counter down the Typhlosion. All right, here's the second team. And this team would obviously perform way better if you have these Pokemon maxed out at level 50 or 51 if you have the best buddy boost with Umbreon and Skarmory. But the thought process behind this, Swampert is weak to grass types. Umbreon is going to be your safe swap here. Skarmory is your hard counter to those grass types. And I am running Shadow Swampert. I think Shadow Swampert is amazing in Ultra Premier. That Hydro Cannon just does so much damage. And I do prefer Sludge Wave on my Swampert. It really depends on what sort of team comp you're running it with. But Sludge Wave is such a nice surprise against the Flyers as well as the grass types. So here's my Umbreon here. It's only 2,260 CP. Definitely not maxed out. Still able to output a decent amount of damage. I double resist those confusions. Gonna be able to get some chip damage with Foul Play here. And luckily I do have Skarmory, which is a pretty solid response to this Gallade. My Skarmory is like barely past level 40. It is a hundo though. Out comes Snorlax. Going to immediately switch into my Swampert and just try to rip off as many Hydro Cannons as I can to burn these shields here. So there's one. Here comes two. Really need to get these shields down. I still have a very healthy Skarmory, but I'm actually going to shield here because I know that I can outpace the Snorlax, and my goal is to just get these shields down. I know that my Skarmory can even still survive a close combat from Gallade. Not able to mudshot the Snorlax down, but I'm going to be able to farm with my Skarmory. They bring out the Gallade, and I'm actually able to just Air Slash that down, and then I'm able to Air Slash down the Snorlax. Good game there. Swampert into Excadrill. This is obviously very favorable. Excadrill is the budget version of Galarian Stunfisk, and I really would like to emphasize the word budget because it will not perform nearly as well. Even though it shares the same typing, shares the same coverage with its charge moves, It is so glassy. Galarian Stunfisk in Ultra Premier is again one of those XL Pokemon that you can get up to level 51, but it's very, very bulky. And so that's what really gives it a lot of its swagger in Ultra Premier. Excadrill, yes, does offer the same coverage, but you are going to notice that it is very glassy, but it still can serve the same role of being like an anti-charmer, an anti-flyer, because you're able to hit with the Rock Slide and the Drill Run, and now that it has Mud Shot as the fast move, definitely is something to consider. I might consider building one for Ultra Premier and just see how it works out. So you can see how bulky Umbreon is even when it's not maxed out there. It just tanked the Blast Burn, no problem. Oh my gosh. It's kind of amazing how much damage Umbreon can absorb in Ultra Premier. You can also, if you have a Hundo Mandibuzz, that's another Pokemon that is worth getting up to level 51 because it's got like the same bulk as Umbreon, but you have added resistances to like fighting types. You're only going to be taking neutral damage for that, as well as like resisting the grass type damage. You do gain some weakness to like electric and ice though, so that is something you have to be aware of. But Mandibuzz has got like the same bulk as Umbreon, so it's very, very bulky. Able to win that game there, good game. Swampert into Drifblim, this is kind of a sketchy matchup. If the Shadow Ball lands, especially since I'm a Shadow Swampert, that's really, really bad. But Swampert can easily tank an Icy Wind. So I don't even bother with trying to guess the bait. I'm just going to swap into Umbreon, and I do catch a Shadow Ball, which is good for me. Hard punished by I'm a champ here. So this is one example where if my Umbreon was fully leveled up here, these last resorts would be doing a lot more damage. But unfortunately, yeah, I'm just going to get taken out by this Machamp. I know they still have residual energy. Gonna bring out the Skarmory here, and once again, if this was fully XL, I would not be taking near as much damage, and these air slashes, I'd be able to farm this down a little bit easier. But Machamp is still hitting for neutral damage on this Skarmory, and it really, really hurts. Out comes Snorlax, they're up a shield, they still have a healthy Drifblim. This is not looking great. I know that my Swampert can survive a Body Slam from this range, but I really want to get these shields down, so I'm going to throw another Hydro Cannon, and then I should be able to get to one more Hydro Cannon before they're able to rip off a charge move. There it is. They cannot farm me down, so they're going to have to commit to energy. They do shield that. Shields are now down. I need to get somewhat of an energy advantage with my Skarmory here, but they switch into their Drifblim. And I make a big mistake. I didn't know if Sky Attack was going to be enough to KO here, so I go for the Brave Bird, but this drops my defense, and then the Snorlax is able to get so much lick damage off because my defense has fallen, and now the Machamp is actually going to be able to counter me down. I'm still not super familiar with a lot of the damage distribution in Ultra League compared to Great League, so possibly Sky Attack would have been enough to KO there, and then I would have been able to easily take that game, but big mistake on my part. This is a matchup where having Earthquake is more favorable for the Swampert because it's just a better move. You get stab on it. I'm going to let this Surf go through. I did get a shield, and my opponent actually switches into Gallade, so I do have a solid response in the Skarmory here. I'm just going to throw the Sky Attack and see whether or not they want a shield. They commit both shields, so I can technically still survive a close combat from this range, but it's not going to be pretty. So shield up that first one, and then I really want to be able to fully farm this down. Worst case scenario is that there's an electric type in the back to hard punish all this energy. They bring out Lapras again, that's fine by me. I'm going to go for this Brave Bird, and I do lose CMP, which is actually better for me because now that damage doesn't register before I get my debuff off. I'm going to land this Brave Bird, and then I might even swap into Umbreon to clear this debuff. Yep. That Lapras is in Foul Play plus Farm Down range. You can see how little damage the Surf does. It's just absolutely insane. Umbreon is just so bulky, but it really doesn't output a lot of damage like super fast. It's more of The matchups with Umbreon are pretty long, and its total damage output is really strong. So against Executor, this is obviously very favorable for Umbreon. Gonna get hit by Seed Bomb here, but can easily tank it. Over farming a little bit more, gonna throw this Foul Play. This is definitely gonna be able to take out the Executor, and then I'm very close to another move. I lose CMP here, obviously, but I'm going to survive this Surf, no problem, and then rip off this Foul Play. Umbreon coming through clutch there. But again, I really recommend that you power those Pokemon up to their full XL potential if you can. Otherwise, they are really not going to perform. Okay, this matchup was so wild. So somehow my opponent gets in so many free counters, and I also don't even like visually see it. The game doesn't even show me. So they're already able to rip off 2 Cross Chops before I can even throw 2 Hydro Cannons. So they're actually 2 counters ahead of me, which I have no idea how that is possible. Gonna throw this. They get in another free counter there, so that they're actually 3 counters ahead of me now, which means that my Swampert was gonna lose that matchup in the 2 shield, which is not supposed to happen. Swampert is supposed to easily win that in the 2 shield, and my Skarmory is hard punished with a freaking Magnezone. So this is very, very bad. This team comp does have a weakness to fighters, obviously, because you can't really switch out of it with your Swampert, because if you bring your Skarmory onto the fighter, they're just going to swap out, and then Umbreon is really going to struggle against that in the back. So you can see Umbreon does take that Wild Charge pretty decently. And then out comes Machamp. There's no hope with how much free energy that Machamp got in. Good game there. I got destroyed. All right, this team is pretty fun. Abomasnow, Swampert, and Ampharos. This is the Shadow Swampert once again, and I do like using the Swampert as the safe swap here. It'll potentially bait out grass types, and then the Sludge Wave hits for a lot of damage on that. Thought process behind this: Abomasnow is very weak to fire. Swampert obviously hard punishes the fire types, and then Ampharos, if it's a Charizard, is also able to hard punish that as well and hit for neutral on other fire types like Blaziken or Typhlosion if you do run into those. And so Abomasnow in the lead. This is an XL Abomasnow, so I was able to power it up closer to 2500 CP. Abomasnow is really, really strong. One thing that it does have a lot of weaknesses though. You're weak to fighting. Escavalier absolutely walls you, unfortunately. Double weak to fire, weak to flying. And so you do have to, it's kind of tough to build a team around covering those weaknesses. This is definitely designed in covering Abomasnow's fire weakness. But you could also throw like a Drifblim or some sort of a flyer in the back that could help protect against some of the fighting weakness that Abomasnow has. Out comes Empoleon, and I'm able to meet this with my Ampharos. Even though I could survive that Hydro Cannon, I don't want to be farmed down, and I want lots of energy coming out of this. So I'm going to throw this Thunder Punch right here. And it gets shielded, but I have back-to-back. My opponent snuck 2 free waterfalls there, which is not great. The timing of these 4-turn moves are really, really tough to get the feeling for. Abomasnow into Snorlax. This is fairly neutral. Obviously, if they land the superpower, this is not great for me. But I'm actually just going to go for the Energy Ball on this first move here. It is going to do more damage, obviously. And this puts them in Weather Ball range, essentially. So my opponent actually queues up a charge move, not on true CMP, which allows them to switch into their Charizard to catch that. Very, very nice. But I'm able to get my Swampert onto this and over farm, and the game for some reason queues up my charge move after the Charizard throws, so not great. I tried to undercharge it to Mudshot it down, but that did not work. Out comes Drifblim. So I'm going to be able to throw this Hydro Cannon. And I do get a shield. If this is Icy Wind, I barely survive. But I'm going to be hexed down. Alright, biggest mistake ever coming up right here. I give up switch advantage back into my Abomasnow. Because my thought process is that, oh, I have 2 things that can beat this Drifblim. but I should have just let it go down. Oh no, okay, this was in a different match. In a different match, I made a terrible mistake of giving up switch advantage. This was okay because I knew that they only had 2 Pokemon remaining, and I saw their whole team, so I was able to confidently make that swap. But I've made that mistake before where I just aggressively swap, and then I'm hard punished with like an S-Cavalier in the back. Check this out, Kingler. This was really, really cool. So this is the Kingler that has access to Mud Shot as the fast move, and then X Scissor and Crab Hammer as the charge moves. Pretty interesting. I'm just going to switch into my Swampert here. This Crab Hammer is going to do so much damage. Check this out. Holy cow. Is Kingler the new meta in Ultra Premier? I don't know. I need to run some simulations and figure this out though. It's obviously very glassy. You have X Scissor to cover the grass types, and Crab Hammer hits for so much damage. Oh my gosh. I'm finally able to get rid of that crab, but it's really put a dent in my team. Out comes Drifblim. Oh, this is the one. This is the one where I think I make the huge mistake. I give up switch advantage, and what do they have in the back? Sure enough, it's an S-Cavalier. This is game over. What I needed to do was just let my Swampert go down and then come out with my Abomasnow and get chip damage off on the Drifblim, and so my Ampharos would be able to take out this S-Cavalier. But this is very, very bad for me now because I essentially have a Swampert that is of no use. It's got no energy and no health. And this S-Cavalier is just going to run rampant on my back line. I need to somehow like be able to farm this down, but it is just not gonna happen. It has so much energy. Prime example there. I should not have given up switch advantage because I didn't know what they had in the back yet. I did not have full confidence of what they had in the back, and I got severely punished by an S-Cavalier switch locked on my Abomasnow there. Good game. Abomasnow on Machamp. This is absolutely terrible. So this is one of the team's weaknesses. I'm going to use Swampert as a safe swap here. They got a free counter through immediately. I don't know what is going on, but this Shadow Machamp literally just continues to get free counters through and just decimates my team. I'm going to have to shield this, but I know I'm going to get countered down, and then it's just gonna wipe out my backline. Double shielded Shadow Machamp just absolutely destroys his team. Because I get farmed down, I'm not even able to get to another move here. Out comes Ampharos. I'm going to have to eat so much damage here from this Machamp. Let that first cross chop go through. Here's another move. They have so much energy. I do shield up the rock slide, which is good for me. Out comes Gallade. Shields are down. I'm going to get hit by a close combat, and this is just absolutely GG's. I'm absolutely getting destroyed here. This close combat's going to one-shot me. I have to hope that I can Volt Switch this down, and then whatever is in the back is hopefully super weak to Ampharos. What is it? They probably bring out, so it is the Magnezone. I can't farm up any more energy, and the Machamp is going to be able to come in and just punch me down before I can get to another move. Oh man, that was rough. That was rough. I think we have one more battle here. Abomasnow into Clefable. This is somewhat neutral, but Clefable can obviously win this if they continue to shield. I'm actually able to hard punish this Charizard with my Swampert, so I want to leave this with as much stored energy as possible to be able to rip off charge moves on the Clefable. So I'm going to throw this Hydro. I doubt that my opponent shields. They let it go. If the Clefable comes back out, I should be able to get to 2 more Hydro Cannons here. So I have them back-to-back stored. Just going to throw both of these. Even though Sludge Wave would almost one-shot, I just want the consistent damage output of Hydro Cannon here to put it in a range where my Abomasnow can somewhat handle it. It's actually double fire. So I was able to store a Hydro Cannon last second on my Swampert, and so now I know that my Ampharos is most likely going to go down, but I have a Hydro Cannon stored just in case. I will commit shields here because I believe Swampert wins CMP against the Typhlosion, so I'm not worried about that. But I'm going to be able to burn the shields and then take out this Typhlosion here. Thank you all so much for watching. Best of luck in Ultra League this week. I'm not very good at Ultra League, so I'm going to try to continue to improve, but make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you appreciate the content, and I'll catch you all in the next video.